is Josiah Melton. Josiah is 12 years old and we live in Broken Arrow. He goes to Broken Arrow schools. Josiah was born with his disabilities. He basically has a huge list of diagnoses, but I will not bore you with that because it will take about 3 hours, maybe longer if he's talking to us. But his primary diagnosis is a very rare genetic disorder called 2p duplication disorder, and this disorder has everything from hiatal hernia to failure to thrive, autistic tendencies, global developmental delay. So there is just this hodgepodge. There's not a lot of information out there, and so we just kind of were winging it for many, many years. And then his secondary disorder is a neuromuscular disease called Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, and that is a neuropathy that affects the extremities, the hands, feet, arms, legs. It can also typically CMT patients experience scoliosis as well as joint and hip issues. Josiah his disabilities were completely unexpected. I thought I was going to be just a typical single parent. And then when he was born, it turned into an emergency C-section, and they whisked him off to the NICU. He spent 6 weeks in the NICU at St. Francis, and the original neonatal report was no eyelashes, no baby fat. He was under 4 pounds. So needless to say, that day my life completely turned upside down, and I realized that I was going to have to find a very, very different way of living. And in the 12 years, we've had our ups and downs. He's had 15 surgeries. The most recent one was a hiatal hernia surgery. It's been a pretty long road, and we are still not fully recovered from that. He's still not back to eating by mouth. He is just eating through his G-tube right now. Some things about my life and our lifestyle. He has a 2-year-old brother, and I'm very grateful for my little pumpkin pie. But being a 2-year-old, it's hard for us to just go to Quick Trip. There's no running into Quick Trip and getting a Coke. There is no just, let's go to the grocery store, unless it's something that I can hold in my hand or in a small basket, because I can't carry my 2-year-old on my hip and push a wheelchair. We don't go out to restaurants because of his autistic tendencies. Just over the years, I've had my times where I've been bolder to, speak out about it, and then there's seasons of life where I just kind of stay back, because we're dealing with something else. Maybe we're fighting insurance for a power chair. We're actually trying to get a power chair for him right now. So going out into the public is, we do it, but we do it and we put our armor on because special needs parents are tough. My friends in the Tulsa community, you know who you are. We are strong, and we're stronger together. It can be kind of isolating, and all I want is to give him the most normal childhood and teenage years and life, and the best quality of life that he can have. He will most likely always live with me because of his cognitive and physical disabilities. And so I try my best to speak out and just speak from the heart and be real about what life is like for us, about our day-to-day, about, I feel like the message that I have for people in this is don't take those little things for granted, because when it's hard to just run into Quick Trip, you can take that for granted. And when your kid is screaming at 2 a.m. and you're trying to make sure that they're not waking up the other kids in your house, you know, what do? Well, that's things that I figure out all the time. Trial and error. We try lots of different things. But Josiah is a joy, and he is a good kid, and he's sweet, and he's loving. And we do our best to not let his disabilities define him. He's my inspiration. When I talk to him at night when it's bedtime and I tell him what an inspiration, he just gives me this big old grin, and we do our prayers, and we just hug, and he pulls my hair because he loves hair. He loves the sensory input of hair. But he's just a joy, and he works so hard. You know, if I had to describe Joe in a word, it would be perseverance. He is the most perseverant kid, and he pushes through the pain, and he works hard in therapy. He works hard for us. He works hard in school, and there's a little bit of honoring mixed in there. But that would be my word for him, persistence, and he definitely inspires me, and I hope he inspires others throughout his life.